Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, social media, news, sports, music, lifestyle, everything really depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Meliodas. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. My guest is an actor, a comedian. He is the creator of Corner Gas and Corner Gas Animated. The Christmas special for Corner Gas will debut tonight on CTV Comedy. We're with Brent Butt. Brent, welcome to Popternative.
Thanks. Nice to be here. Good to be here. I like the name PD Beats, by the way. I just want to get that. I'm a little jealous of your social media handle.
It actually started out. I was actually like in Montreal, where I'm from, at CEGEP, local college radio station. That was like my name, like DJ PD Beats. So it kind of just stuck, and it became kind of my persona.
When you grew up with the last name Butt, you don't even think about a nickname. It doesn't even cross. It's just you've got the last name Butt. What do you need?
I know, absolutely. Well, thank you for doing this. I mean, exciting time. The Christmas special is airing tonight, and you know what? Who doesn't love a Christmas special for a TV show? And it's an exciting time. This is the first Corner Gas animated Christmas special, Brent.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. I'm very excited. I'm as excited as you are, Pete. Maybe more. Yeah, no, we've been looking forward to getting this out into the world because we're really happy with how it came together. It wasn't easy finding storylines that kind of fit because, it's you want, when you have a Christmas episode, you want to have nice fuzzy holiday feelings. You want it to be warm. But Dog River's a town where people are kind of jerks to each other. There's a lot of backstabbing and conniving going on in Dog River. So, but when we found the storylines that kind of satisfied both those things, they landed really, really well. We're very happy with how it came together.
Absolutely. And of course, one thing that people see clips of it, I mean, the musical component is an exciting thing. There's a song, there's a Christmas song in this. And, did you always knew that?
It's not, we came up with a Christmas song. I wrote a Christmas song and we recorded it. It's not actually in the special, in the show itself.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of, think of them as two different entities. Well, you got your TV special.
Yes.
And also you got your Christmas holiday tune. Look at the size of my paws. Good Lord. How would you like a slap fight with that guy? I wrote this song called Everyone Can Sing at Christmas.
Yes.
Because I like to do things, whether I'm good at them or not. I don't care. If I enjoy them, I do them. I don't have to be good at something to do it. In fact, there's very few things that I'm good at. I always say there's a lot of things I can do almost well enough to make a living, but not quite.
People seem to really enjoy it though. Like the music, the video is pretty awesome for it too. It's so colorful and cartoony.
I know it's had like over 100,000. Only been up for a few days, but it had over 100,000 views already. The video. Because here's the thing. I believe that I've written the only Christmas song in the history of Christmas songs that has the phrase "swift and brutal Yuletide beating" in the lyrics. Right? I can't think of any other one that's ever had that. So people are enjoying the tune, the video. It's a ton of fun. I wrote it with Craig Northey from the band The Odds. He does all the music for Corner Gas Animated.
Yep.
He wrote the original Corner Gas theme song. He and Jesse Venezuela from the Gin Blossoms.
Yep.
And Valenzuela. I think I said Venezuela. Been watching too much CNN. But anyway, so I came to Craig with this idea. I told him some of the goofy lyrics that I had. He thought they were funny. He put some music to it. I wrote some more lyrics. Next thing you know, his whole band is involved, some horn players from Ontario, and then I'm in the studio singing like I'm Bobby Darin or something. I'm out there like Dean Martin, Christmas crooner.
No, like I said, it hasn't been out that much. It hasn't been out on the internet for that long, and it's exploding right now. So
I'm getting reports for people on social media coming out. They're mad at me because it's an earworm, and they're like, "I'm singing this stupid song all day now."
Yeah, thanks a lot. There comes a point, because I told you before we started, when Corner Gas Animated first came out, the first season, I interviewed Fred about everything, and he even said it. He's like, this is more of a question for Brent, but like, I mean, does it come a point where, something like this, continuing on the legacy of Corner Gas in another kind of form, is that something that always kind of stewed idea wise for you, Brent, that you maybe had an idea?
No.
Because I know, well, your background is in animation as well, too, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, cartooning and illustrating. After high school, I went to Sheridan College in Oakville. I got accepted into their animation program, but
mhm.
I don't even think I went to a single class. I went to some orientation stuff. I left after a couple of days. Seems like a lot of work. No, my goal was I wanted to do stand up. I wanted to be a greasy nightclub comedian. That was the goal. If I could do that, if I could make a living being a stand up, mission accomplished as far as I was concerned.
Mhm.
Everything else has been a tremendous amount of gravy. But I thought that when we did the live action show, 107 episodes, 6 seasons, and pulled the plug, I thought, wouldn't it be great if we could come back in 5 years and do a movie, a theatrical movie,
Yes.
which we did. And I thought that was going to be it. That's the cherry on top,
Yeah.
right? But the problem is, too many people came out and saw the movie. It was like the most watched thing of the year. It was like physically selling out theaters.
Mhm.
Um, Cineplex called CTV and asked if they could have it in the theaters for an extra week because it did a crazy amount of business. And so that spurred the network to call us up and say, listen, there's clearly still an appetite for stories about these people in this quirky little town of Dog River. Do you want to do more episodes? But I didn't want to come back and do more of the same.
Ah,
It felt like it'd be going over the same kind of track, getting in. So, but you like to have a job though, right? You like
yeah.
to have a gig. So I was like, well, what could we do if we were going to do it differently? And like you said, I have a background in it. So it was a pretty quick jump to go,
Mhm.
what about trying animation? And the other cool thing was too, is that one of the guys who wrote on Corner Gas, his name is Norm Hiscock, he used to write in Kids in the Hall and Saturday Night Live and
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine and everything. He wrote on our show, and he also wrote on King of the Hill. So here was a guy who understood our show and he understood network primetime animation. So I went to him right away and I said, listen, Norm, if we were thinking about doing an animated version of Corner Gas, what would we do different? How would we change the writing and all that kind of stuff? He stopped me right there. He said, don't change anything.
Mhm.
This is the perfect show to animate. Just write more episodes. And that kind of emboldened us.
Absolutely. And people that kind of, because I'm a big fan of Corner Gas, I'm a big fan of Corner Gas animated. You know what I mean? Same characters. Obviously, same character, same kind of idea. You know what I mean? But obviously, some storylines. You know what I mean? Some of them are a little bit more, wacky and goofy and over the top in the animated. You know what I mean? Is it because you
Well,
get to do that because it's an animated show? Do you think?
Well, we try to keep the storylines, grounded in reality, but we
Yep.
have these little fantasy pop-outs, which we always
Yeah.
used to have in the live action.
Yeah.
But in live action, you're kind of limited to what you can get away with doing, what you can actually physically or financially make happen, or
Absolutely.
legally make happen. In the animated world, now everything opens up. So when we do these fantasy pop-outs in the animated as opposed
Mhm.
to the real action, we can do some pretty wacky stuff. We had a Sasquatch fight a unicorn in a graphic violent battle.
Oh,
um
absolutely.
yeah, we're able to take these fantasy pop-outs to fun new areas we could never get to in the live action world.
Absolutely. Specifically with this Christmas special, I mean, Tinsel-itis. I mean, we're gonna kind of find out what that's all about very soon. What do you think? I mean, there's like, what do you think people could be expecting without any spoilers? I mean, is there anything that kind of stands out when you kind of saw the final product you're writing this that you're really excited about? Was it kind of the storyline of the episode? Was it how it looks? Like, what can people look forward to with this, Brent?
Yeah, I like all. There's kind of three main storylines in this episode, and I really like them all.
Yep.
um one of the things I really like is that one of the storylines is that Wanda kind of goes to war with the police because she's been stealing electricity basically off the town grid, and her set because she's got 100 zillion trillion lights on her house,
Mhm.
and it's affecting their radios, and so they shut her down. And through the course of the argument, they claim that they like Christmas more than her, and that gets her nose out of joint. And she goes about trying to flood them with so much Christmas that she makes them hate the holidays. So I love that as a storyline for a Christmas episode where somebody is trying to make somebody else actually hate Christmas. It just felt like a good corner gas storyline.
Absolutely. You mentioned, comedy was kind of one of your first things you kind of started out with, was one of your first kind of passions and one of the first things you did. I mean, you are seeing a lot of comedians, you know what I mean? They're doing stand up, but at one point they gravitate to, whether it's scripted or non scripted, they gravitate towards TV. And you did so with Corner Gas. Do you think that's kind of always something in the cards a little bit where, comedians want to maybe showcase how funny they are and how diverse and versatile they are maybe and go on TV shows, Brent?
Well, I think it's really more about just finding the biggest audience you can.
Yeah.
You got a bag of jokes, you think you're a funny person, you want to make some people laugh. Ideally, you'd rather make a few million people laugh than a few hundred in a club.
Yep.
Both is good, but ideally, if you're a performer, the bigger the audience, the better is a general rule of thumb. And it's been a natural progression. When radio first came along in the 1920s and the 30s, they they populated the show. They basically went to vaudeville and said, okay, who are the funny people? Jack Benny, Burns and Allen, Abbott and Costello. They bring the funny people from the live performance into the new medium, because it's kind of proven that if you give these people a platform, they can entertain. And so it went, when TV came along, they went to radio and took the
Yeah.
stars from radio. And
It's like a
kind of
cycle almost.
yeah, it's just something that we haven't done much in Canada. The States, it's a recipe that they've been using for almost a century. And we hadn't done much of that in Canada, where we said, okay, let's take a person who has a track record being funny and see what they can do in TV. And that's how it came about with Corner Gas. Basically, a director who became my production partner, David Story, he said to me, listen, I've been talking to the network and they want to know if you have any TV show ideas, because I had done a stand-up special on CTV's comedy channel.
Absolutely.
And I got nominated for an award for that. And so I was kind of on their radar at the time. And so they wanted to know if I had any TV show ideas. So I said to David, well, I wrote a treatment for a show about a gas station in Saskatchewan, but I can't imagine anybody's going to be interested in that. I told him a bit about it. He thought it was interesting. He told them about it. They thought it was interesting. Next thing you know, we were in talks.
And the rest literally was history. Like one of the most popular and
TV
iconic
history.
Canadian shows of all time. Isn't it? I mean, you all, like, I've talked to other people involved with Corner Gas. You're all very humble and you're excited about it. But like, it's pretty cool to look back and see what you guys created. Like, it is one of it. It is.
Yeah,
It's really cool
it
to
really
see,
is.
Brent.
I'll tell you, here's the thing I often think of. And every time I think of it, it's not something we toot a lot, because you don't want to go around tooting your own horn. But Corner Gas, here's the thing I'll always be proud of. There's lots I'll be proud of about Corner Gas, but it's the only time in recorded history where the number one comedy in Canada was actually from Canada. That had never happened before, and it hasn't happened since, where the top rated sitcom was actually made here, and it
In our
was
country, yep.
outpacing all the top US sitcoms of the day. That's never happened before or since. And I'm very, very proud of that, because I remember when I first, when I was starting out in stand up, I would always hear people in the comedy scenes talk about, well, we can't do sitcoms in Canada. And that always just stuck in my craw. I was like, I know we don't do a lot of them, but there's no reason we can't.
Yeah.
So I feel like somehow Corner Gas validated the notion. And I've heard a lot of people say after Corner Gas, they said suddenly they were getting meetings with network executives who wouldn't answer their call before, because it was like, okay, well, this show was made here, has a huge audience. Maybe we can do it.
But I feel like it's really cool you see it too, because I believe in October you guys made a deal and people in the States can finally see Corner Gas on IMDb TV, which is exciting.
That's right. I mean, it was airing on Amazon first, Amazon
Yes.
Prime, Amazon Prime Video, and Amazon owns IMDb TV, which is a free streaming service that they own. And so it was doing well on Amazon Prime Video, and they said, well, we want this on IMDb TV instead. And they made a deal with us to take it. And so now it's streaming wherever Amazon Prime is available. If you have an Amazon Prime account, there's an IMDb TV.
Yep.
It's basically built into the platform, and you can
Absolutely.
watch the show for free. It's ad supported. And so now The show is in 60 countries now. Corner Gas
Amazing.
is in 60 countries around the world.
But it's really cool because people are talking about Schitt's Creek and Kim's Convenience and Letterkenny and Working Moms, and they are great Canadian sitcoms. They are
Yeah,
excellent.
absolutely.
But you got to know where it kind of all started. I'm just saying, I saying it, not you. You know what I mean? Corner Gas.
Hey, listen, I'm
Pioneer.
not going to argue with you. I'm not here to argue or cause a fight.
You're not saying it. I am. You know what I mean? You got to think
Exactly.
about it. I got to be careful though when I say the words like pioneer and icon, because when I said that to Fred, he just got mad at me. You're like, you're just making me sound old. Like, what are you doing? So I feel like I gotta be.
I'm well aware that I'm old. You're not hurting my feelings. I'm well aware.
Now I kind of.
I'll take the Pioneer thing. Mark McKinney from the Kids in the Hall.
Yep.
He said in an interview, and this always stuck to me. I love this. He because I have such respect for Mark McKinney as an artist.
Mhm.
Such a smart, funny, talented guy.
Yes.
He said Canadian TV will always be defined as pre-Corner Gas and post-Corner Gas. That's what he said in an interview, and that'll always be a feather in my cap.
Absolutely. And I do have to do this because a lot of my friends were really excited that you were coming on Popternative, and I'm going to regret doing this, but I'm going to ask a question. Do you like dad jokes, Brent Butt, or is Brent Butt a fan of the dad jokes?
I'm a fan of funny jokes, whether they're, I don't take a highbrow. If you can surprise me with a good corn pone joke, I'll take it. I got to just be surprised by it. I got to find.
So I happen to be a dad joke connoisseur, Brent. Like I have them very quick. I have them very rapid fire.
Yeah, there's an odd thing to be proud of, but
yeah, I mean,
I'm behind you, man.
Brent, did you hear about the kidnapping that happened?
No, I did not.
It's okay. He woke up.
See, that's a fantastic example of where we should draw the line in comedy.
And then, we were talking about that restaurant I went to on the moon, right? I was telling you it was amazing food, but it was zero. There was zero atmosphere.
Yeah. I heard that one back. I think it was Nipsey Russell who told me that one.
No, it's just one of those. It's just, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I always try to kind of. I had to do it. I had to present some of my dad jokes to Brent Butt. You have to, and people were asking me about it. Brent, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really enjoyed chatting with you. We're all excited to see the Christmas special.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to see it. Thanks for having me.
No
Get
problem.
out there, watch the special, download the Everybody Can Sing at Christmas, and it's gonna be the best holiday season ever.
And I do want to say that's an amazing pinball machine in the background. And is it not interesting that, because I used to love geek culture and comic book culture, but 10, 15 years ago, I would kind of get poked fun at for having a Peter Parker shirt on and everything. Now it's kind of cool to be a geek and cool to be a nerd. I just wanted to point out there.
Who was poking fun at you? You need a different level of friends. I'm glad you graduated past those knobs.
It was just it's just funny to me. Like everyone now is basically on the train of Marvel and Star Wars. It's you know what I mean? It's not niche anymore though. Have you ever thought about that?
I don't know how niche it ever was. I mean, I really came of age in the 70s. Early to mid 70s was my kind of growing into the comic book landscape. And it was already pretty big there. You go to the grocery store, the comic books were there. It wasn't some guy photocopying them in the back room. You had to have a pipeline that you knew somebody. They were out there in the world.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, with Marvel and Disney releasing 900 superhero movies at the same time, I don't know what the strategy is behind that, but
that announcement they just made is crazy. I think
somebody just got tired of scheduling and they just said, you know what, just put them all out. Just do them all now. I'm doing a tourist calendar off the wall.
I think that's
I'm done.
I think that's what's going to happen. Brent, thank you so much. Enjoy the holidays. And hey, I know you're a big hockey fan too. I know you're a big Canucks fan. I mean, it's World Junior times around the corner, so enjoy the World Juniors as well.
Will do.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, be sure to catch the Corner Gas animated Christmas special. It's premiering on CTV Comedy. Until next time, this is Brent Butt and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.